vocal riser type of effects coming in and out. Some of them were sung by me. I'm not gonna solo these right now because no. Hi everyone, I'm Jonathan from the band SONDERPARK, and today I'll show you how I took the vocals from our new track Invisible Line from sounding something like this.
Imagine a voice to shout and cross an invisible line.
To something like this.
Imagine a voice to shout and cross an invisible line.
I'll be sharing my thoughts on the decisions we made for arranging, recording, and mixing the tracks. So let's get right into it. So we wrote the track in the beginning of 2025, which included lyrics, melody, harmony, and some of the elements that you hear in the song. We tracked the vocals as we wrote the song, so most of the parts that you hear in the song are actually from those demo recordings. I think everything except the choruses and the second verse are actually from the demo recording. We do that because we found in the writing phase it's still the purest and rawest engagement with the new song. So you're still trying to massage your vocals into the context of the song. You're still figuring out the twists and turns of the emotions and the dynamics. So that way you can really capture a pure and genuine, authentic performance in context of the song. At times the track is pretty dense in the production, and a lot of times it's a bit less, like the pre-choruses. That made it harder and also easier in some parts to add the backing vocals to support the lead vocal and give it like this weight that we wanted to have for the song. You can really hear that in going out of the second verse into the second pre-chorus and then jumping right into the chorus. Let's see how that sounds.
It's the walk that takes you nowhere, nowhere, nowhere. Imagine getting out, imagine waking up fine. Imagine a voice to shout and cross an invisible line.
The vocal arrangement is made of a few different parts. So of course we have the lead vocal down the middle. Then we have stereo lower octaves, which go like this.
Caught in a rat race, continuous chases.
Kind of funny because that's not Ella's vocal range, but it's not there to be like necessary audible, but it's like really adding to the weight of the lead vocal if you have the lower octaves in there. We have the normal doubles, which sing exactly the lead vocal, again hard left right bounce into stereo.
Caught in a rat race, continuous chases.
Thank you. Hey. And then in the choruses we have falsetto vocals, so which do like head voice. They also add to the high texture. They also pan the hard left right. They can sound like this. Super nice, thank you. Then we have a bunch of harmonies every now and then, which are super cool to add. Yeah, second pre. The lower harmonies.
Imagine a voice to shout, crossing an invisible line.
Then we have some higher harmonies.
Imagine a voice to shout, crossing an invisible line.
As you heard, some of them are a bit quieter at parts because this is the mixing session once again. In the production session, I already knew what I wanted, and in total, where I knew I wanted to have the focus on. So here, I didn't want to have the focus on the higher ones, the higher vocals. And we have a belting vocal, which I think it kind of sings the lead vocal, but it Ella belted at the end. So that's how it sounds. Yeah, also the note shifts a bit, but then, yeah, these are ad-libs and effects, which you can check in at a different time maybe. But here, these are the, this is how it sounds in the chorus, if it's just the lead vocal itself.
How the hell am I so tired? I'ma set myself on fire.
Nice one. Then we have with the doubles.
How the hell am I so tired? I'ma set myself on fire.
Here we also have a double, or like, no, sorry, not a double. It's technically a double, but it's a delay, which I bounce into stereo. It's made from the demo tracks, so demo vocals. And we don't have harmonies in the chorus because it's super dense. We really wanted to have it compact and like focused. I really want to drive that point home, why we have so many harmonies in this whole song and vocal stacks. It's because we really needed to have the lead vocal have enough weight and like depth and width to it, in contrast to the music, because there's so much going on. The vocal world really needed a lot of like thickness, basically, you know, and it was like attention to detail concerning the reverbs, the delays, and another big thing for me is to bridge the harmonic gap, let's say, between the music and the vocals. So having harmonies that maybe even double the stuff that the music does really connects the two worlds, like music world and vocal world, into one cohesive piece. The last thing I want to specifically highlight when it comes to the vocal world are like vocoder parts, delay parts, vocal chops, which you might have missed in the full context of the music, but they really add to the interesting properties, for the lack of a word, of the vocal world. Really nicely, you can hear them in the first verse. Let me just close this real quick. So we have a lot of stuff going on: vocoders, vocal chops, even harmonies with the vocoder. Then we have a choir. Let's see, this is how it sounds. Second half of the first verse. You know, there's cool stuff like that here and there in the song. You can see here in the pre-chorus, we have some kind of vocal riser type of effects coming in and out. Some of them were sung by me. I'm not going to solo these right now because no. But yeah, it's cool stuff. So if you listen to the full song, you might not hear them in the first place, but like just try to dig in, like, and you'll really hear how they change and like enrich the whole song. Just for context, we recorded all the vocals on this TLM 103 from Neumann. It's a large diaphragm condenser, and we went right into my interface. I have a Steinberg UR44. You might know the mic from Billie Eilish and so on and so forth. You know, this is how the vocals sounded without any processing on them. One sec. Also, no effects. There you go.
How the hell am I so tired? I'ma set myself on fire.
Nice one. Thank you, Ella. Here we go with the processing on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go.
How the hell am I so tired? I'ma set myself on fire.
Once again, these are the demo vocals and they just sounded super cool. So we just kept them. Before I start mixing the vocal properly and massaging them into the track, I always do these 3 things. I comp the vocal, I edit the vocals, and then I pitch and time correct the vocals. So comping means I just look at all the takes that we did for a specific part of the song, and I look for nuances like word endings. Where did Ella breathe? Where, like, did she even say the wrong words maybe sometimes? The second thing, editing, I always take out like breaths, mouth noises. Maybe there's like crackling going on because we're in the same room. Stuff might just happen. I just clean up the vocals, and then the last thing I do is pitch and time correction. For pitch, I use Wavetune Real Time. Technically, I also use Melodyne, but for this case, I used Wavetune, and it worked perfectly fine. And I'm always putting all the vocals through that process. Big shout out to Ella at this point. She's making my life so easy when it comes to like all those things, because she is so dead on time always. Like, her rhythm is so fucking good. So big shout out to Ella at this point. Super nice. For processing the lead vocals in the song, I started with, again, the plugin Vocal Writer, just to check in with the levels that go into next steps of processing chain. Then I have a de-esser on there. Ella does have great pitch and time, but somehow the mic picks up her S's like so well, a bit too well, so I just needed to control that a bit. And I have a tuner on there, which is not super fast because I didn't want to have it as a tuned effect. I wanted to have it controlled, but again, we just need to adjust it in context to the music, and it's 2026. People just expect like really clean vocals when it comes to pitch. Then I have an EQ in there just to control the frequency spectrum a bit more. Low cut at 170, dynamic EQ at 250 roughly, and then probably some resonant frequencies that are just pulled out relatively broadly, but you know, you can see it. The next thing was to control the dynamic peaks. So I have a CLA 1176 on there, ratio 8:1, super fast attack for the verse, and pretty fast release as well. Let's see, I think I automated the attack during the song. Yeah, so in the verses, the attack is a bit slower. In the choruses, I think it's set to the highest. Here we go.
How the hell am I so tired?
Yeah, so it's really a lot, like doing a lot. So 5 to 10 dB of gain reduction in the choruses. It's working, let's say it's working. And then LA 2A as well after that to adjust the average loudness. What is the gain reduction on this one?
How the hell am I so tired? I'ma set myself on fire.
Yeah, so roughly around like 3 decibels of gain reduction. So pretty chill. And then after that, I have Saturn 2, which is adding tube style saturation. It just enriches the vocal, makes it a bit thicker, a bit richer. Maybe cuts a bit better on phones, on small speakers. But yeah, that's that. And then last instance, I have an EQ, which cuts resonant frequencies. Here I had them at 180, 250 roughly, not 250, 2500, and roughly 3000 kilohertz. And then I think they also get automated across the track. Don't want to check in right now when exactly that is, but I send it into a stereo group. Just like to have it in. What the heck was that? I send it into a stereo group because I like to put microshift, which is a chorus on there on the vocals with a mix of 2. It just makes the vocal sound a bit more like from this to like this, you know. I just like it. Apparently I have an EQ on there, which is doing a lot of work. Raised dynamic EQs 220, 4, 680, 1200, and then 2700 raised. So I think it just needed to cut through a bit more, like to get the vocals like more understandable. Forgot the word how that is in English. Again, S's probably, and adding top end again at 15K. Fresh air, more top end. I think that's also automated and kicks in and out of the song according to song parts. Another de-esser, microshift to make the vocals a bit more, you know, thick, and then soothe. Super nice stuff. Yeah, I bounced down the lead vocal doubles and the backing vocals into stereo tracks, and each of these stereo tracks are according to the vocal they're singing in the context of the stack. So the lower octaves are in one stack, the main doubles, then the head voice doubles, and so on and so forth. And I do that because then I can save myself some processing power on the Mac, as well as I don't overwork myself in the editing stage. So I do all the edits in a different session, bounce it down, take it into this session, because you need to keep moving with the track. Otherwise you might overdo some things, and there's a lot of stuff to handle and to take care of on the track. So yeah, I think I added the lead vocal processing to the doubles as well, because then I can just keep it concise and fast and in context to the lead vocal a lot easier. So yeah, that is the vocal world. So this was the video on the vocal production I did for the track Invisible Line by my band SONDERPARK. If you liked it, let me know. There's a lot of things to cover in this track. There's a lot of things going on, but it's a small sneak peek into how I work. If you know any like things I can do better, just let me know. If you like something, you can also let me know. If you didn't like something, you can just put it into the complaint box down below. Otherwise, there's a lot of cool things happening: keys, bass, synths, drums, percussions, effects. I just wanted to start with the vocals, and if you're down, if you're interested, and check into different parts of the song. Super proud of this one. Yeah. Maybe see you in the next video.
Invisible.